Hey, what's up, guys? Joker here. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Today, we've got a couple of news stories in the world of tech and PC gaming. First up, we're going to be talking about Battlefield 2042. That's right. I haven't played the game in so long, I forgot what fucking year it's supposed to be set in. So are most players, apparently, who are, the few that are remaining, actually, are accusing DICE of now padding their stats by filling lobbies not just with bots, which have been built into the game since the beta, but now no longer labeling them as AI players, as they have done since the beta, in order to make the game look like it's fuller. But in reality, a lot of the players are bots. We'll be talking about that, as well as a new Copper IHS, or integrated heat spreader, that you can get for your Intel 12 series CPU, which allegedly will reduce the temperatures by up to 15 degrees Celsius. So nothing to sneeze at there. And also a couple of interesting stories, as well as a touching one about Elden Ring. So let's get fired into the news. But first, today's video is brought to you by supercdk.com, where you can save money on games for all of your favorite platforms, as well as software like Windows 10 Pro for just $19.50, and then you can unlock the prestigious dark mode on Windows 10 and take advantage of that. I couldn't live without it. And if you shoot over there right now, you could save 25% off. Hit the buy now button and then put in my code JP25 at checkout. I'll walk you guys through the process right now so you can see how much money we're saving and how to go ahead and install this on your Windows 10 PC. That brings our price down to $14.62, total savings of almost $5 using that JP25 code, which will work for any software products over there. Once you're done with that, go ahead and click on Submit Order and select your payment mode of choice, which me personally is PayPal, and then I'll go ahead and complete the checkout by clicking on Pay Now. After completing the checkout, it'll bring you to your purchased order page, and it will update in a matter of seconds, or just go ahead and hit F5. Go ahead and do that one time. It came through literally immediately. I got the payment email that it had gone through and the delivery of the product exactly at the same time. Once you're done with that, go ahead and click on View Keys and Codes, and we'll get our code right here that we can go ahead and copy and paste in on Windows 10 by hitting the Start button and type in the word Activate. When you see that activation settings, or see if Windows is activated, go ahead and click on that, and it'll bring up this right here, and click on Change Your Product Key or Unlock Windows 10. As I already have Windows 10, I obviously don't need to put in a new key, but just paste it in, and then go ahead and click Next, and you are all done and set. For more information on supercdk.com, as well as the coupon code, be sure to check out the links down in the description below. First up, let's talk about everyone's favorite first-person shooter to hate since late 2021, Battlefield 2042, which obviously, as you know, got off to a pretty rough start with the game's release. And up until now, you know, the devs have thrown a few things out there and patches and updates here or there, but at the end of the day, Battlefield 2042 is still a steaming pile of dog doo-doo. And now they are being allegedly, you know, they're being accused, I guess you could say, of inflating the player numbers with AI bots, but not labeling them as such. Over on the Battlefield 2042 subreddit by user Janice67, he says, "I'm now fully convinced that bots are not just AI being tagged as such." He then goes on to say that played the game for about an hour yesterday evening with a buddy in a squad, and we repeatedly saw players with lowercase names and 3 numbers that were behaving just like the bots, and in camouflage uniforms models that did not look familiar to either him or his friend. Although most of their matches, he does say they were piloting in a Nightbird, so maybe they didn't get the best view of it. But they would move in strange ways, stop and duck and stand and duck like you see the bots do in solo, which I've personally, yeah, everyone's seen it. If you see the AI players, they play very odd, honestly. They'll just sort of like crouch like in the middle of open spaces and just, you know, kind of shoot around randomly. They're pretty terrible AI, honestly, and easy pickings for kills, and you can usually tell it's an AI player before you even get the kill and see, you know, their gamer tag with AI at the end of it. He then goes on to say, and with whatever gun they had, they were randomly shooting at them in the air, again in a Nightbird helicopter, with no chance of doing any real damage to the helicopter. Either way, he says they were some of the worst players they've seen, or kids that just had absolutely no clue what they were doing. But, you know, there was no gameplay of it. There has been no recording, which he says, you know, he doesn't really record his gameplay, but if he gets back, if, there's a big if again, if he gets back on the game again, he'll try recording to see if he can capture some gameplay of it. So as of right now, it's just an accusation, really. We don't have any gameplay of it, but if what he's saying is true, the accusation does sound, well, kind of accurate as to how the bots perform in the game. So, if you've seen anything like this playing the game where you've seen players, without that AI tag at the end of their name and maybe some pretty obvious, screen names that look like something that was kind of just randomly generated, and they're behaving in the way that bots traditionally would. If you've experienced any of that, let us know down in the comments below. But as of right now, the player counts on Battlefield 2042, at least on Steam, are not looking too stellar, with a 24-hour peak of 2,892 players, and actively when this screenshot was taken, it was at 2,054, and the all-time peak, probably right around launch, was just over 100,000. So it's, no secret that, there's no love lost for Battlefield 2042. A lot of love has been lost, I guess you could say, for Battlefield 2042. Game sucks, not surprised by this at all. And of course, those numbers are just for Steam. There's probably at least that money playing on Origin, if not maybe even a little bit more than that. But you have to think, globally, between Steam and Origin, you're probably looking at less than 10,000 players. And for a franchise as big as the Battlefield franchise, that's pretty abysmal, compared to, previous years. And you could probably hop on and find a couple thousand people still on Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 5, or even Battlefield 1 to this day, and probably even 1,000 or so plus on Battlefield 3. You can find it pretty much any given time. Don't try Battlefield Hardline. There's like literally 3 people on that dumpster fire of a game. But this is definitely the worst Battlefield since Hardline, for sure, in my personal opinion. Next up, let's take a look at a new IHS, or Integrated Heat Spreader, which is essentially the exterior part of a CPU that makes contact with your cooler, for anyone who needs explanation on that. There is a new Copper IHS available for Intel i9-12900Ks, but it does also work on other 12th gen CPUs from Intel, like the 12900, 12600, and 12400. And essentially what this is designed to do is improve the cooling of your 12 series Intel processor, which they claim is because it's copper, although there's a lot of people saying that it's not necessarily just because of that, but because of having less material, having a smoother exterior on it, which could also be done with the stock IHS. Honestly, if you just really polish the outside, you could maybe get some improved performance there. And then also the fact that you are essentially having to delid your processor to put on a very likely an alternate TIM or thermal interface material, but they do claim that it does reduce temperatures up to 15 degrees Celsius in this graph from Rocket Cool. You can see they have the 12900K running at around 85 degrees Celsius and dropping down to 70 with their Copper IHS, which we could see is pictured here, which also has a different machining on the inside of the Copper IHS heat spreader, which is to help limit any issues you might have with applying any thermal interface material, which kind of like lays it out a little bit better for you. So it kind of takes away the guesswork, is something that they're marketing it as. And then you can see it here applied onto, assumingly, a 12900K CPU. Now, like I said, they're making these claims. I have to assume that it does work and does drop the temperatures by 15 degrees Celsius, but whether or not you can do this through other means where you might be able to save some money and just delid the processor and then throw on something like liquid metal from Thermal Grizzly, remains to be seen if someone wants to do testing and comparison between the two. I don't have a 12900K to test, otherwise that would be something interesting to try out. But the price of the Copper IHS comes in at $32.99 here in the United States, but in order to put it on, you have to delid and relid your processor, which is a risk in of itself and an extra expense of $59.99. And they also offer a combo bundle for $80 US if you want to get the delid relid kit along with the Copper IHS. So there you go. Some information out there. I'll have links to sources for the stories down in the description below if you want to check these out. And I do look forward to maybe seeing someone testing this, especially these claims with the Copper IHS, someone like Der Bauer, who sells his own reliding kit for processors and has done so for years. I would love to see someone like him do a take on this and test it versus, some other methods, out there for, trying to drop down temperatures, because 15 degrees Celsius just from delidding and using a better thermal interface material like liquid metal, as I said, from Thermal Grizzly, can definitely get you to drop temps by about 10 to 15C on many processors that people have done it on. So it's not outside the realm of possibility that adding this Copper IHS might not be helping in any sort of significant way. But, you know, as I said, I'd love to see the testing on that. Now, before we get out of here, a couple of little minor stories I just wanted to kind of cover. Not anything super duper interesting, but I kind of thought they were kind of cool. First up, over on the Elden Ring subreddit, this has been uploaded almost 12,000 times, and I'll throw one on myself there for this. This person made a post saying that my best friend who got me into Soulsborne games died before Elden Ring came out, so I modeled my character after him so he could explore the lands, naming his character Jason of Lordran. So pretty cool, nice gesture that he did there, and as you can see the character and the face of the character model. So really nice way of this guy to honor his friend, actually. So that was pretty cool. Nice of him to do that. That was the Uncanny Jones over on the Elden Ring subreddit, which obviously, you know, I talked about this last week. The game, a lot of performance issues on PC, but it doesn't take away from a touching moment right here for a gamer to honor his friends. Pretty cool, honestly. And lastly, not gaming related at all, just found this kind of funny. I saw it on a skit on Saturday Night Live over the weekend, on Weekend Update. Man was hospitalized after shoving a AA battery into his penis. One has to wonder, will the police be charging him with assault and battery? That was funny. That was funny. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Hope you guys all have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you tomorrow for some more news here on the Joker Productions channel. Make sure you're subscribed, like, comment, all that stuff. Ring the bell, and I'll catch you then. Ta-ra.